You ever see federal agents in full tactical gear burst through your cabin door screaming, "Get down," but the second you lay eyes on their badges, you know something's not right? Because let me tell you, when your wife stands there and smiles, I mean really smiles like she's been waiting her whole life for this moment, well, that's when you realize you're not the only person in your marriage with secrets. "Gentlemen, you just made a very serious mistake," she says, calm as a lake at dawn. And me, I'm just hoping the coffee's still warm by the time I make sense of any of this. Yeah, that happened. But if you think that's the shocking part, just wait till you hear about the Tuesday morning when this whole circus started. 9:15 doorbell rings. I'm trying to work from home pretending I know what half my meetings are about when I hear Tracy answer the door using that careful, ultra-polite voice she reserves for people she's already decided she doesn't like. Out my window, I spot a woman on our porch, late 50s, hair set like a helmet, clipboard held like a judge's gavel. Vicki Thompson, our HOA president, standing there with a smile so tight you could use it to pop balloons. "Good morning, Mrs. Carter," Vicki chirps, but there's nothing good about it. She's got that we need to talk look. I listen in. Vicki starts rattling off our supposed crimes like she's reading off a grocery list. Mailbox, color wrong, $500. Unauthorized plants in the garden, $300. Vehicle parked 17 inches from the curb last Thursday, $200. $1,000 gone over things I didn't even know existed as rules. I was halfway out of my chair, ready to give Vicki a piece of my mind, but Tracy, she stops me cold with a single question. "Vicki, can you walk me through the legal authority for these assessments? Which state statute grants the HOA president power to levy fines without a hearing?" The calm in her voice, the way her questions sliced straight through the nonsense. It was surgical, like she'd spent years practicing for this moment. Now you got to understand, my wife isn't the "let's see your supervisor" type. At least I didn't think she was. But that day, it was like she was a whole different person. Vicky's smile slipped for a second, and in that flash I saw something meaner, more calculating. "Mrs. Carter, these are standard procedures." She tries to brush Tracy off. Of course, Tracy says smooth as butter, just interested in understanding the audit trail. "Where do these fees go? Who audits the books?" Vicky gets flustered, mumbles something about community governance, then scurries away. Tracy just stands there, watching her drive off like a chess player who's 3 moves ahead. She turns to me, calm as you please, and says, "We should pay the fines." You ever try to argue with someone who's got that dead calm, don't mess with me tone? "Tracy, are you nuts? $1,000 for mailbox paint." She doesn't flinch, just moves to the kitchen, always keeping an eye on the doors. Sometimes avoiding conflict is smarter than fighting it. But I know her last month she spent 3 hours yelling at the cable company over a $20 overcharge. That night I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Tracy's questions were too sharp, her calm too controlled, and every time she moved through the house, she'd check her sight lines, stand where she could watch the front and back. So I ask, "How do you know so much about HOA procedures?" She claims she's been reading up, but those weren't questions you get from Google. That's when my phone buzzes, text from an unknown number. "Your wife's been asking very professional questions about our finances. Curious wives sometimes end up in uncomfortable situations. VT." That's when the pit hits my stomach. Vicky's watching us, knows my cell number, and is threatening Tracy. But when I show her the message, Tracy doesn't blink, just reads over my shoulder, processing, calculating. I try again. "What aren't you telling me?" She almost seems relieved, like she's tired of pretending. But before she can answer, her phone rings. She answers in a tone I've never heard, flat and professional, like someone giving a report. The next morning, Vicky's back. This time she's got a thin man with her expensive suit camera, the kind of guy who calls people sir and makes homeowners nervous. "Mrs. Carter, this is Mr. Peterson from the county. We've received reports of potential code violations." Tracy doesn't even blink. "What specific violations?" she asks, all relaxed. Peterson starts taking pictures of nothing: our mailbox, the yard, the driveway. Vicky is barking out fake issues. Drainage runoff fines starting at $2,000. Tracy fires back, Please cite the county authority for this action and log the evidentiary basis. Peterson freezes. After they leave, I demand answers. Where'd you learn to talk to government officials like that? She just shrugs. Claims moving here took paperwork. But I'm watching her every move, controlled every word chosen, and now I notice she's running patterns, surveillance patterns. That night I checked security footage. Vicky's been driving by our house twice a day, every day for a week. A day later, a manila envelope shows up. Inside, a photocopy of Tracy standing with the inspector, her face circled in red. No note. Tracy's still calm, but I'm losing it. David, she says, how much do you trust me? I try to laugh it off, but she's deadly serious. Do you trust that everything I've done is to protect you? Before I can answer, her phone rings again, and this time I hear her in the next room. Position compromised target showing enhanced surveillance, recommend extraction protocols. That's when it hits me. This isn't about HOAs or parking or mailbox paint. Tracy's using language that doesn't belong in the suburbs. Who are you? I ask when she comes back. She sits across from me, all business. I work for people who investigate financial crimes. Federal people, I ask. She doesn't deny it. That's when her phone pings again. Vicky, Agent Carter. I know exactly what you are. Time to have a real conversation. Tracy's face goes hard. We need to leave. Now. Turns out Vicky wasn't just an HOA president with a God complex. She was laundering $5 million a year running cash through construction companies, landscaping, property management, using the HOA as a front, and my wife. She'd been sent to bring the whole thing down. By Thursday, Vicky declares war. The county, the fire marshal, environmental compliance, they all show up, start flagging us for $17,000 in urgent exposure. Tracy's calm never wavers. She asks for documentation quotes, regulations, makes even the officials nervous. After they leave, I find her surrounded by legal codes, records, and a color-coded timeline of Vicky's corruption, all built in 2 hours. Vicky isn't just an overzealous HOA president. Tracy says she's got inside help. She's dangerous. Then Tracy's secure phone, which I'd never seen, rings. Agent Carter, she answers. No more pretending. Target has activated multiple pressure vectors. Operational window closing. She's talking about us like we're assets in an op. 6 months of marriage and my wife's been undercover the whole time. I ask. What is Vicky doing that needs a federal agent? Tracy finally breaks it down. Money laundering drug proceeds 3 years running. Your job had nothing to do with this assignment. She says softly, falling in love with you just happened. Then Vicky makes her move. Mr. Carter, your wife's legal knowledge is impressive. Maybe we should meet. Tracy's not calm anymore. She knows who I am. We have to move. Cabin in the mountains now. Turns out Tracy had already picked the place a DEA safe house. Secluded, defensible, limited access. We pack up and go, and for the first time I see my wife in full professional mode, checking lines of sight, setting up comms gear, scanning for bugs. Vicky's sending a private security team, former military, not more county inspectors. This is going to end one way or another. 4 hours later, tactical vehicles roll up. Tracy arms herself, hands me an earpiece. Stay put. Do exactly what I say. This is being recorded for federal evidence. Outside footsteps, then the door explodes inward. 4 armed men storm in, led by Vicky herself. Mrs. Carter, your interference ends tonight, she sneers. But Tracy, she just asked for their warrant. Calm, cool, precise. HOA enforcement. The lead thug barks. Tracy exposes them for what they are not. Cops. Not even close. You're claiming authority you don't have. These are civil infractions, not crimes. She calls out Vicky's laundering operation, $5 million a year. The room goes silent. Then, like a scene from a movie, Tracy flashes her DEA badge. 4 men drop their guns, faces white as sheets. She reads out their crimes: assaulting a federal agent, impersonation, obstruction, breaking and entering, armed criminal activity. Vicky tries to threaten her, but Tracy's been playing her from the start. She keys her mic control. This is Agent Carter. Subjects have committed to criminal action. Execute full perimeter. Suddenly the cabin's swarming with DEA tactical lights, helicopters, the works. Vicky's dream team melts like ice in July. Vicky, now caught, hisses, "You have no idea what you've done." But Tracy's smile is ice cold. "Your cartel bosses in Phoenix, Denver, and LA were picked up 30 minutes ago. We got it all, Vicky." Vicky's mask crumbles, her empire's in ruins. The security contractors, crying, beg for mercy. Tracy tells them to cooperate. As agents sweep the cabin, Tracy comes over for the first time, looking unsure. "David, the job brought me here. Loving you was the surprise. My heart's pounding, but the truth's clear. I've been married to a lion this whole time." 6 months later, we're in federal court. Vicky's defense tries to play the innocent HOA card. The prosecutor stands, thick folder in hand. Members of the jury, the defendant laundered $53 million in drug proceeds. Used her HOA power to hide a criminal empire. The jury doesn't even take 4 hours. Guilty on every count. Sentencing day. Judge Harrison throws the book at Vicky, 32 years, $53 million in restitution. As we walk out, the U.S. attorney congratulates Tracy, calls her a model for federal investigation. The regional DEA director offers her the Miami cartel case next. Tracy looks at me, eyes searching, ready for the next adventure. Always I tell her, "So here's my question, and I want you to really think about it before you answer. If you found out the person you loved most had been risking their life, undercover fighting to make your neighborhood safe, could you handle it? Could you trust them knowing what you know?" Now, drop your answer in the comments. And hey, if you've ever dealt with HOA craziness or found out your spouse was a little more than they seem, share your story below. Justice comes in all shapes, but sometimes it shows up wearing a wedding ring and a badge.